Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, March 6th, 2020. Welcome to another eBay video. As you can see, as usual, it is cloudy. It'll be raining later, but I did have one sunny day on Sunday, and I'm very happy with that. And they're saying this Sunday will be sunny again. So if we can get one full sunny day a week, I'm happy with that. Today we're going to be talking about no. Just say no to cancellations. We're also going to talk about a big upswing in returns and unpaid items. Guys, I think you'll be very interested with what I have to say today. As always, we're going to start out with your questions, comments, and concerns from last week's video. Mighty Buffoon wrote in with a comment about when an item is listed for a certain price or best offer, where the person has best offer option on their listing. And he wrote, Joe, I have a complaint regarding stingy sellers who have make an offer on their listing but won't even accept a reasonable offer. I offered a seller $4.21 on an item that they had listed for $4.56, and the seller declined my offer. They declined an offer for only 35 cents less than their original price. What a joke. In my opinion, this seller deserves to be in the Bad Sellers Hall of Fame. They are exactly what makes shopping on eBay less fun to shop at. After this bad experience, I blocked the seller from buying any of my products. I don't want to even risk doing business on either end of the sale with someone like this. Shaking my head. Oddly enough, I've experienced this myself. Some time ago, I had sold an item and I couldn't find it. Now that does happen occasionally to me, so I needed to buy one on eBay, and I found someone that had one for $39.95 plus shipping. So, and he had the make an offer option on there. So I said to myself, I'll make an offer for $35. I'm sure he'll snap it up. It was automatically declined. So I said, now I'll make another offer. At the time, eBay allowed us to make only 3 offers. I said, with my second offer, I will make it for $38 on a $39.95 item. That was automatically declined. I shook my head in disbelief, and since I only had one shot left, I went ahead and did the buy it now for $39.95 because I really did need the item. But yes, I do feel that that's very unscrupulous, and sellers should not be that way. I have several comments I want to read from the video that I made last Sunday. Let me explain a little bit about that before I read the comments. Last Sunday I made a video because it was a sunny day. I wanted to get out and do something, and I wanted to do one of these film noirs for the longest time, but they take forever to make. And they're very draining, very physically draining, running up and down those stairs. But anyway, there were several people that wrote in and misunderstood and thought that was actually a true story, that I was trying to go downtown to 125th Street just to ship one single box, and on a Sunday? Guys, that was an entire skit. It was a parody. It was a joke. It was made to be funny. But let me read a few of your comments. DeGreco wrote, another fabulous Cecil B. DeMarco production. Pomona 513 wrote, that was hysterical. The music really made that video. Did the woman in front of the Apollo get you in her photos? Yes, she did. Debbie Keith wrote, this was such a fun video, Joe. I love the music too. I've never been to New York because I'm a West Coast girl, so I love seeing the views. Thank you for making the vid. Glad you got some beautiful sunshine too. I'll try and send you some more. The one person who totally understood, I mean really understood what the video was about, was Michael Dalney. He wrote, Joe, this is my second comment on your insanely funny video. It actually sums up perfectly the current state of eBay. It showed how the seller goes out of their way by any means necessary to please the buyer, only to have the rug pulled out from under him at the last possible moment by the fitchy buyer. Joe, I think I see an Oscar in your future. Move over, Scorsese. Here comes crazy New York video maker. Michael totally understood the message I was trying to convey to you people. I, and many of you guys, are disgusted with the fact that we are willing to bend over backwards for our buyers, send items out quickly and promptly, only to have the buyer come back later on and try and cancel the sale. eBay is not acting on this, so I feel we need to act on it. This is one of the main topics of today's video, and I will address that when I'm done reading the rest of the comments. On immediate payment, Mary Weimer wrote, Joe, eBay would do sellers a lot of help if they would turn on the requirement that if a seller or buyer accepts an offer, it would immediately debit or charge the customer. Other online platforms have it, so why not eBay? It really streamlines the sales and no more waiting around for sellers to pay. I had a set of expensive speakers hung up for a week by one of these non-paying customers. It really does the sellers no favor. Keep up the good work, Mary Lou. Mary, I totally agree with you. I am amazed that the same unpaid buyer situations that occurred in 1999 are still occurring in 2020. And weirdly enough, it happened to me twice this week. Now, as you know, all my items are fixed price, so I really can't get an unpaid buyer. But I do send out offers to watchers through the week. The other day, Wednesday, 2 people accepted my offers to watches. I sent them invoices, and as of this moment, Friday morning, neither one has paid. It's preposterous. I don't think this situation can occur on any other platforms other than eBay. I talked to some people last year, some of the eBay higher-ups, and they told me that later this year, in 2020, immediate payment would be required when people accept the best offer. But again, this is just what I was told. I don't have a time frame, and I'm not even sure it's going to happen. But tomorrow I've got to send out 2 unpaid item notices for 2 people who didn't pay. And one of them has 0 feedback, and his name is entirely written in Arabic, yet he has a United States address. And the amount is over $200. This kind of thing greatly concerns me because once again it opens the door to show you that there are no checks placed on new eBay accounts even in the year 2020. On cancellations, Rick Moore wrote, while I don't have a ton of cancellations, they do drive me nuts too, Joe. I'm retired, so I have one-day handling, but often ship the same day. If I get an order, I pack it up right away. This habit helps thwart cancellations as the item has already been shipped. The other day, I got an order and sat down to pack it, and 5 minutes later, I got a request to cancel. I thought, no way. I printed the label and then went into the cancellation request and checked cannot cancel, already shipped. Good job, Rick. I totally support you on that. And I had a similar instance this week. Let me stop reading the comments and tell you about that incident right now. So what happened is, the other night, let's just say 7 o'clock at night, I get a ka-ching on my phone. A buyer purchases an item. And the item he purchased was that exact item that gave me trouble a few weeks ago. You may remember I told the story of a buyer who bought one brand new Ford hub for $15 plus 15 shipping. Afterwards, he wanted to cancel because he thought he was getting all 4. I called him out in eBay messages, but because he canceled within 5 minutes, I hadn't printed the label, I agreed to the cancellation. But it really, really bothered me that somebody could be that stupid to think they're getting 4 brand new Ford hubs in the package for $15. It's just ludicrous. So as I'm saying, the other night, a buyer buys the same item, quantity of 1, $15 plus 15 shipping. And I said, oh my God, I hope this doesn't happen again. I waited a little bit. No cancellation came in. I printed the label, I boxed the item up, and I went and put it in my car with the other boxes for the next day's shipping. Soon after that, bang, there's the cancellation request. Same crap. He thought he was getting 4 instead of 1. This time, I manned up. I said, no way. What I did was, I didn't just refuse the cancellation at that point, which was around, let's say, 10 o'clock at night. I said no. I ignored it. I went to sleep. I got up the next day and I went to the post office and I made sure they scanned it in. After that, I went ahead and refused the cancellation because it was already shipped, and if the person checked, they would have seen that it was already scanned in. In fact, had they checked before they even sent the cancellation, they would have seen that I had already printed the label, but they had obviously no regard for that. Now the point here is, if they choose to return the item, it's going to cost them another $15 to ship it back to me. In essence, it will cost them a total of $30 to return a $15 item. Guys, I will let you know next week if I've gotten that return. I feel it's way past due for people to stand up and act like a man or act like an adult when they purchase something on eBay or any other venue. I will no longer accept any cancellations once the label is printed. I don't care if the box is sitting right down at my feet. That label is printed, it's going out. If they want to return it on their dime, that's fine, I'll accept the return. Speaking of returns, Flippin' Ain't Easy wrote, Joe, another good video. You mentioned you were going to start listing items with no returns. I have multiple accounts, with one of them being strictly for auctions on items I'm trying to liquidate. On these listings, I have no returns. I have encountered a handful of cases opened by the buyer who have contacted eBay to state the item is not as described, and this forces eBay to start a return, even when these items are sold with a condition of parts or repair only, and a clear description of what is being sold. We're then required to pay for a return label and ultimately a full refund, including initial shipping costs. When I have spoken to eBay reps and quite a few supervisors, I'm given the spiel that a buyer has the right to evaluate and return any item if they state it's not as described or not working, even if the listing states the item is not working, regardless of the stated return policy. When the seller has a policy of no returns, it only applies to the good buyers and the bad ones get around it. Sellers on eBay really do not have control of setting up their own policy because eBay will not back us up. Just another example of how eBay does not care one lick about their sellers, and it's only getting worse. Flippin' ain't easy. Sad, you can list a broken iPhone in for parts and accessories category, sell it, and a buyer can get it and return it and say it doesn't work, even though the listing clearly says it doesn't work. eBay, I believe, has this policy because they do not want to scare off any buyers. But in my opinion, and I think the opinion of you too, these people are not serious buyers, and these are not the kind of people we want on the platform. On Fitchy Cancellations, Londa Sanders wrote, Hello, I've been quietly watching your videos. I enjoy the content that you bring, especially about Fitchy buyers. I just encountered my first Fitchy buyer. She made a purchase and turned around and wanted me to cancel it because she made a mistake after she purchased it. I let her have it with both barrels smoking and then canceled the transaction. I'm so pissed off. I told her next time to pay attention when making a purchase. I'm going to block her name from purchasing anything from me. What else would you have done differently? The only thing I would have done differently is if I would have printed the label already, I would have sent it out. All right? That's my new policy. I'm done playing. This is just over the top ridiculous with these cancellations. Wayne Courtney wrote a rather long comment about refunds. Joe, I thought I would share a costly lesson I learned about refunding buyers. I sold an item through the global shipping program. After about 2 weeks, the buyer messaged me and asked about his package. Tracking showed it was still en route to the shipping hub in Kentucky. I advised the buyer to call eBay, and he did, and opened an item not received case. I contacted the buyer and told him to give it a couple of days, and if the tracking doesn't show some movement, I would refund him. I opened a package search with the USPS, and before I got any response back from the USPS, I refunded the buyer. As luck would have it, just as soon as I refunded the buyer, a lady from the USPS called me and advised me to search for my package using Postal.Ninja, which I did, and my package was on its way to the buyer, but never got scanned as being received at the Kentucky hub. After 2 or 3 more days, the package showed delivered. I contacted the buyer. He said he got the refund but no package. So I called eBay and was told since I had refunded the buyer, the case was closed. Lesson learned. Love your videos each week, Joe. Keep it up. Especially love your laugh. Ha ha ha. Wayne Courtney, I think you made a big mistake there. I always wait until I receive the item back before refunding a buyer. Well, like you said, I think you learned a costly lesson, and I think you will not make that mistake again. A few channel comments. ZXC wrote, Joe, what happened to you using the YouTube whiteboard in the background? It's dated May 4th, 2018, so it hasn't been used in almost 2 years. E-Curb replied to him and said, probably because the wind kept blowing it off the stand, which is entirely correct. RJ wrote with a question. I have a question. I currently block buyers from bidding if they have too many unpaid item strikes against them. Is the buyer getting a message explaining they cannot bid because of their prior poor actions, or are they simply not aware of it and possibly think the eBay site is broken? The reason I ask is the buyer requirements log is showing the buyers making several attempts to bid to no avail. I hope they understand they caused their own inability to buy from me. RJ, yes, I do believe that the buyers are receiving a message from eBay saying they are blocked. And I say that because in the past I've had several blocked buyers write to me and say, please unblock me. I purchased an item from you 10 years ago and I did not pay you for the item because back then you did not take PayPal. I see you take PayPal now and I'm willing to pay you with PayPal for that item. And I respond to them, I will never ever unblock you. You caused me a lot of grief because you did not properly read the listing, and I swear to you, you will never be unblocked. Before we move on to new topics, let us drink from the Fox News Cup O' Life. This is the Fox News Cup O' Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. Love it. I already talked about unpaid items and cancellations. Now let's talk about returns. Guys, my returns are through the freaking roof. I've always had what I believe are more returns than most of you. I used to have an average of 3 returns per week. Then it went up to 5 returns per week. It is now a new record, 8 returns this week, guys. 8. Unbelievable, but true. Now, there's a little bit of good news thrown in there. Good news is my sales are way up, so I guess consequently my returns will be up. But also good news is that of the 8 people, every one of them admitted they made the mistake and that they either purchased the wrong size, changed their mind, found a better price, etc. So in all 8 cases, the buyers manned up and they're paying the return shipping back to me. So when I get the item back, I will refund the item price, but not the original shipping or not the shipping back to me. One customer went as far, he purchased something in a quantity listing. I had 3 available. He went and he wiped me out. He bought all 3 of the items, and when he got them, he said, I changed my mind. I'm going to send them back to you, and I will understand if I am subject to a restocking fee. I'm not kidding. He really said that to me in an eBay contact message the other day. I understand if I will be subject to a restocking fee. That's one you don't see often. So let's summarize what we've talked about so far. Cancellations seem to be up. Returns seem to be up. Unpaid items seem to be up. Do you see a pattern here? So this actually reverts back to the year 1999 when I first started on eBay, and eBay was considered the Wild West, and anything went. Guys, how I'm handling each of these items, I told you, with the cancellations, I'm done. Finished, final. No more cancellations for me. Unless the guy cancels within the first hour and I have not yet printed the shipping label, then I'll let it go. But once that label is printed, I'm not canceling. I am done. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You do what works for you. This crap has got to stop. This is just plain ridiculous, because every time a buyer cancels, we lose the PayPal fees, and I don't like to lose money. As far as returns, there's really nothing we can do about that, I don't think, unless we switch to no returns. All the returns I got this week, all 8 of them were legit. None of them were fishy. So I'm not going to really moan and groan too much about that. I guess it's just part of doing e-commerce. Unpaid items pisses me off greatly because that's something eBay could actually control, and for 21 years has chosen not to. There is no reason for unpaid items on the platform of eBay or any other selling venue. And I couple this with fake accounts that are not verified. I talked to somebody high up in eBay Trust and Safety a couple of years ago, and I asked him about that. I said, why doesn't eBay require account verification? And he basically said to me, Joe, at this time, this is something we do not plan to do. We feel it would scare away some potential buyers. I don't feel that way. I do feel it would scare away some potential fishy buyers. But that's just my thinking. What is your opinion? Because I'd really like to know. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go now. It's cold, it's murky, it's cloudy. The rain hasn't started yet, but it will shortly. Please leave your comments, questions, and concerns on any eBay topic you want. Especially, I want to hear about your take on cancellations, unpaid items, and returns. I'm really super interested in your take on cancellations because this has just blossomed like crazy. Unbelievable. It's over the top. Guys, I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thank you for watching this video. Each week I come out here and I make these videos to help you try and be successful on eBay. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm on point and appreciated. If you don't think I'm doing a good job, please tell me in the comment section what you want me to hit up next week, and I'll be glad to do it. Remember, I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems. I'm still making money online. I never wore a mask, and I never will. Heck, I've never, ever distorted my voice to try and mask it because that's unscrupulous and dishonest in my opinion. I'm a CEO and a CFO of my own company, so yeah, go out there, make a ton of money on eBay, rock on, and peace! Yeah! As always, I will conclude this video with the 3 words every one of you eBay sellers needs to live by. And those 3 words are, don't be fishy!